I think that's all really growing is. It's just a shift in priorities. You know, um, like I don't think I was as clued in on how like different things I was doing was affecting the band, affecting my relationships with the band. Um, you know, my priorities have just shifted a whole lot. I'm probably not any more mature than I was then, but my priorities are different.
What about artistically?
Um, I think it's just the type of thing that it gets, the practice makes perfect. It's the only way to get to Carnegie Hall, type of thing. And when you do something for a long time, you get sharper. You get sharper at it. And in a lot of ways, I think that my whole idea of our artistic creativity has changed. From something that you have to completely surrender like everything to something that maybe you have to spend a little bit more time with, and it doesn't hurt to go back and revise. Whereas when the first record came out, I was like a real big fan of just whatever happened, whatever came out, no second guessing, no revision, no real work, you know what I mean? Just kind of like freeformed everything. That's definitely changed a lot. Sometimes that works, sometimes that's awesome, you usually know it, but it almost never hurts to go back, double check things, and just really put what you're doing under the microscope.
I can't stop saying it.
I'm curious, take me back in time to before you guys were going into pre-production. What goes through your mind? What do you guys talk about?
We talked about the songs a lot. We were experimenting with different types of scheduling to see what was going to give us the best outcome. Whether working 7 days a week, 5-6 hours a day was going to, we did that for a little while, and then, we tried other things. I was going through just lots of stuff, and I think everybody really was. And there was for me, there was a sense that I wanted the record to be this amazing fucking unearthly thing, and just I want it to be perfect. And I think when you go at something like that, you can do that in a healthy way where you're actually honing it down to become something perfect, or you can do it in a way where you're just never happy with anything you do, and you're always doubting yourself, and you're looking for everybody else to validate whatever it is that you're doing, and that's just a really bad way to do anything creatively. And I sort of started over from scratch, doing that process. And it was definitely good for the band. Everybody sort of came together and was able to help each other out. Where one person was lacking in one area, we would fill it out for each other, Kind of like how friends are supposed to do.
Well, aside from the guys in the band, did you feel any external pressures?
It's mostly internal. Obviously there's there's a part of you that wants everything to be as best that it can be, and there's also this part of you that still wants everybody to just like you.
Yeah.
And sometimes those two parts are fighting each other. Sometimes they're fucking, sometimes they're fighting each other. It's real weird.
Are you content with how it came out?
No, I mean, I'm way more than content, I feel like I'm content with how the other albums came out. I'm really proud of this album. I think this is a testament to what it takes to have a good balance of that, letting just things happen naturally and letting them be what they are, and going back under a microscope and fine-tuning everything and making sure it's exactly what you want to say, it's exactly how you want to say it, it's exactly the right volume you want to say it.
Artistically, what keeps you motivated, or at least specifically with this record?
That's a really funny question. Because I've been asking myself that a lot recently, and there's really nothing like that feeling where you you completely you're just totally inspired by whatever's happened to you, and you're able to put it into the right words for the right moment. And I think a lot of people experience that. That feeling is nothing, nothing else I've ever experienced. Just knowing oh wow, this came out of like 100% pure inspiration. That's definitely part of it that keeps me going. And the other part of it is I just always want to be, I want to be better, you know? Everybody always wants to be better.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I hear music or when I hear poetry, especially, that I really like, I get this feeling like, fuck man, I wish I wrote this. Like, that's exactly how I feel. I wish I came up with it. And when you can write something and be so proud of it like that and be like, I came up with this. Like, this is something that I was going through this bullshit, and then I put it into words that make sense to me and that it convey that feeling. That's like the reason why I think anybody does this, you know?
Yeah. Give me a second, I'm trying to suck that in.
You know when you're like looking for something, the right thing to say, you know that feeling in contrast to the feeling where you know the right thing to say, and it just comes out, boom, perfect. Like that's what motivates me. Like I'm always wanting to tell people, you know, like I always want to share whatever it is I'm going through.
What about the band as a whole? I know you guys are on Atlantic now. To what extent does public relations and marketing shape public opinion with your band at this point on this level?
For the last 6 years of the band, we've been sort of at the forefront of like the brand of Circa Survive. You know, we've been in control of it. And moving to Atlantic, we haven't had to give up very much of that control. We more or less have more people helping us to get the brand out there the way we want it out there. And, it's weird. I don't know much about marketing, and I don't know. I know that as a group we sell ourselves. We sell albums and T-shirts, but we also believe in the idea that as humanity is, like, you can do anything you want, and that you don't have to be stuck at some shitty job, and you don't have to be stuck in some shitty relationship, whether that's with like your girlfriend or boyfriend or with your family or whatever.
Yeah.
And we learned this by doing this, and part of the brand of Circa Survive is teaching and showing people what we know about that stuff. And essentially, I think if you're doing something that's good like that and it's not totally a hustle, then you're gonna be all right. And sometimes it takes more sacrifices in that area, not creatively, but more or less like financially, in order to have that be the forefront and the importance of everything. But it's worth it in the long run because people keep coming back because it's a message everybody wants. Something everybody needs to hear. We need to hear it.
In your opinion, what are the ingredients that comprise a successful band or a good artist?
Shit, man, I'm still trying to figure all that out. You know what I mean? Like we're lucky to be here still, and maybe not know all the ingredients. One day I think I'm close to understanding it, and the next day it's gone. I think the foundation of it is just being a good person. It doesn't necessarily make you a good artist, but it just makes it easier at the end of the day, I think, for me.
Are there particular bands within the past, let's say 10 years, that do it right?
I think so. If you look at the Deftones, that's a band that has been able to reinvent themselves a whole bunch and still keep like that same feeling that they've had, But I think it's getting harder and harder as the industry is changing and making, it's just making the shelf life of artists, they just expire quicker, and no one really wants anything but like the flavor of the week. So for us to still be around and, I don't know if it's good to say relevant, but maybe a little relevant. It's surprising and it's awesome. What it takes to be a successful band might not be what it takes to be a financially successful band. For us, it's I know all of us we're not gonna hide the fact that we want to be able to pay our bills and we want to be able to own houses and pay for weddings and whatnot.
Yeah.
But none of us are gonna, act like a bunch of fucking idiots to do it. We're not gonna sacrifice creatively what it is we believe in to do it. Like the whole trick or the whole idea is to try to do it in the way that we love doing it. Because then it's like it's not as hard. There's a whole nother trick that's just making money. It's another thing you can go out and just try to do it the best you can and make as much money, but it's just not. It's never been what we were interested in.